If you've been noticing that your sexual confidence doesn't feel as steady as it used to, and you keep telling yourself it's just age, pause right there. Because for a lot of men, timing and performance don't weaken first because the body suddenly fails. They weaken because one daily habit quietly trains the nervous system to rush, tighten, and overreact long before you even realize it. And the good news is, once you understand the habit, you can replace it with a calmer routine that helps your body respond with more control, without embarrassment, without miracle promises, and without forcing anything. Stay to the end, because the final connection most men never make changes how you approach this with clarity and dignity. Let's start with something most men never say out loud. When sexual performance becomes unpredictable, the hardest part isn't the physical change. It's what it does to your mind. Confidence becomes cautious. Desire becomes mixed with pressure. And a simple moment that used to feel natural starts to feel like a test. I want you to hear this clearly. You are not weak for feeling that. You're human. And if you're over 40, 50, or 60, you're dealing with a body that has carried stress, responsibility, and sleep disruption for decades. That history leaves fingerprints on your nervous system. And the nervous system is often the real gatekeeper of control. Now here's the open loop I promised. The daily habit I'm going to explain is so common that people celebrate it. It's not bad in a moral sense. It's normal, but it has a hidden cost, especially as you age. And once you see it, you'll notice it everywhere. The habit is this: living in a constant state of low-level urgency. Not panic, not fear, just that steady inner rush. Checking the phone the moment you wake up, jumping from task to task, eating fast, sitting tense, carrying worry in your chest, and staying mentally on until you collapse. Many men live like this and call it productivity. But your body experiences it as a mild threat state. And a threat state has a predictable effect. It pushes the nervous system towards speed. Faster breathing, higher muscle tone, more reactive sensitivity, more difficulty settling into calm, steady control. It's not your fault. It's biology. Here's a quick pattern break. Control is not a willpower skill. Control is a regulation skill. Regulation means your body can move smoothly between activation and calm. When you're young, that shift is easier. As you age, the shift depends more on how you live day to day. If your baseline is always tense, then when intimacy happens, your system doesn't warm up. It jumps. Many men assume the solution is to try harder, to concentrate more, to tense more. But tension usually speeds the system up. If you've ever noticed that the more you monitor yourself, the worse things get, that's why. Monitoring adds pressure. Pressure adds urgency. Urgency shortens timing. Let's make this simple with a metaphor. Imagine your body has a dimmer switch, not an on-off button. In a regulated system, the dimmer moves smoothly. In an urgent system, the dimmer jumps from low to high too quickly. Our goal is not to stop anything. Our goal is to slow the jump. Now here's where it gets interesting. The same urgency that affects timing also affects sleep, blood flow, appetite, and energy. That's why many men notice a cluster of changes together. Less restful sleep, more afternoon fatigue, more stiffness, more stress reactivity, and less predictable, intimate response. These are connected. Let's talk about the three systems that urgency disrupts most: the breath, the blood vessels, and the brain's threat radar. First, the breath. Under urgency, most people breathe high in the chest. The inhale is quick. The exhale is short. That breathing pattern is like tapping the accelerator of your nervous system all day. And reaching tells the body, stay ready. And a body that stays ready doesn't do calm control well. Second, blood vessels. Stress hormones, especially cortisol and adrenaline, make blood vessels less relaxed. This doesn't mean blood flow disappears. It means blood flow becomes less flexible, less responsive. intimate response depends on responsiveness, not just raw volume. Third, the brain's threat radar. When you live in urgency, the brain becomes quicker to interpret uncertainty as danger. And performance anxiety is basically the brain saying, "What if this goes wrong?" That thought alone triggers more urgency. It becomes a loop. Now another pattern break. If you want better control, you don't start by fixing the moment. You start by changing your baseline. Most men try to fix intimacy during intimacy. That's like trying to learn balance while you're already falling. The better approach is to train regulation when you're not under pressure, so your body knows the pathway when it matters. So what do we do instead of the daily urgency habit? We build a daily downshift habit, not a complicated routine, not a spiritual retreat, a practical downshift that tells your nervous system, we're safe, we're steady, we can respond without rushing. I'm going to give you a simple framework. It's not magic. It's signal management. And it takes about 5 minutes a day, plus a few small shifts in how you handle common triggers. Step 1. The exhale reset. Once per day, ideally in the afternoon or early evening, do 5 minutes of slow nasal breathing. Inhale through the nose for about 4 seconds. Exhale through the nose for 6 to 8 seconds. No strain, no holding, just smooth. Long exhale, gentle body. Why does this matter? Because a long exhale is the language of safety to the nervous system. It activates the parasympathetic system, the part that supports calm, blood vessel relaxation, and steady control. If you do nothing else, do this, because it trains your body to shift gears, and men who can shift gears tend to regain control. Step 2. Reduce micro-urgency in the first hour of the day. Most men wake up and immediately flood the brain with noise, phone alerts, news, messages, comparisons, pressure. That sets your nervous system to speed before your feet even hit the floor. Try this instead. In the first 10 minutes after waking, avoid the phone. Stand up, take a slow breath, open a window, drink water. Let your nervous system boot up calmly. You're not trying to be perfect. You're changing the opening signal of your day. Here's a question. If your day begins with urgency, what do you think your body learns about how to respond later? Step 3. Movement that lowers stress rather than spikes it. For many men, intense late-night workouts or heavy lifting done at the wrong time can keep stress hormones high. That can disturb sleep. And sleep is a major regulator of hormones and blood flow. The sweet spot for many men is moderate movement most days, a brisk walk, light strength work, controlled squats to a comfortable depth, step-ups, or simple mobility. The goal is circulation and confidence, not exhaustion. Now let's address a sensitive but important point: pelvic and core tension. Many men carry tension in the hips, lower back, and abdomen from sitting, stress, and bracing. That tension can increase sensitivity and reduce control. A simple practice that helps is gentle hip mobility, slow side-to-side shifts, a comfortable kneeling hip stretch, or a supported forward fold while breathing slowly. You're teaching the body. We don't have to brace all the time. Step 4. Sleep protection. You don't need perfect sleep, but you need enough deep sleep for the body to repair vessels, regulate stress hormones, and stabilize mood. If you're sleeping but waking unrefreshed, pay attention to these common disruptors: heavy late dinners, alcohol close to bedtime, and screens late at night. Small change, big impact. Finish the last large meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed when possible. If you drink alcohol, keep it modest and not too late. And dim the lights in the last hour. These steps reduce the wired feeling that keeps the system in urgency. Safety note, briefly. If you have chest pain, severe shortness of breath, fainting, or sudden new symptoms, get urgent care. And if you take heart or blood pressure medications or manage diabetes, talk with your clinician before major lifestyle changes. This is about safe, steady, improvement. Now let's talk about what's happening inside the mind, because this is where the habit quietly damages control. Urgency trains the mind to chase stimulation. Quick hits, fast reward, high novelty. That makes attention less steady and more reactive. And reactive attention often leads to reactive response. A practical tool is attention training, not meditation in a complicated way, but simple focus reps. Once a day, choose one small task and do it slowly without multitasking. Drink tea without the phone. Walk for 10 minutes without scrolling. Wash dishes while breathing steadily. This sounds unrelated, but it's not. You're training the same regulation muscle. Here's the part most men miss. If your brain is trained for constant novelty and speed, your body follows. But if your brain is trained for steadiness, your body learns to stay steady. Now let's connect this to blood flow in a way that's respectful and clear. The vascular system responds to nitric oxide signaling, a key molecule that supports vessel relaxation. Stress, poor sleep, and blood sugar spikes reduce that signaling. A calmer baseline improves it. This is why many men notice that on days they feel calm, well-rested, and grounded, things work better, sometimes dramatically better. It's not random, it's the system. Another pattern break. The goal is not lasting forever. The goal is responding on your terms. Men often chase an unrealistic standard and then feel discouraged. But improvement is usually measurable in smaller wins. Less rushing, less tension, more predictability, better recovery, and more confidence in your body's response. Let's address the most common trap: caffeine and late-day stimulation. Many men use caffeine to push through fatigue, but fatigue after 40 and 50 is often a sign the body is under-recovered. More stimulation can mask the fatigue while worsening the baseline urgency. If you rely on caffeine, try this. Move your last caffeinated drink earlier. Pair caffeine with food. Hydrate. Then add that 5-minute exhale reset in the afternoon. You're balancing the system instead of whipping it. Now, what about food? Not for miracle effects, just basic physiology. Large sugar spikes create vessel stress. They also increase inflammation and fatigue. A steadier diet, more protein, fiber, healthy fats, supports stable energy and calmer mood. A calmer mood supports regulation. Hydration matters too. Dehydration thickens blood and can reduce circulation efficiency. Many men reduce fluids to avoid nighttime bathroom trips. A smarter strategy is more hydration earlier in the day and less right before bed. Now here's the twist. This is the connection most men never make. The daily habit isn't only being busy, it's also the habit of bracing emotionally, holding in stress, swallowing worries, telling yourself you must be fine. That emotional bracing has a physical cost. The body tightens, the breath shortens, the nervous system stays alert. And alert systems rush. If you've ever felt that intimacy becomes harder after a stressful day, even when you want it, that's not because you don't care. It's because your system hasn't downshifted. So here's your practical 5-minute reset, in full, in one simple sequence. Do it once per day, not under pressure. Sit or stand comfortably. Relax the shoulders. Put one hand on the chest and one on the belly. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. Let the belly expand slightly. Exhale through the nose for 6 to 8 seconds. Let the shoulders drop. Repeat for 5 minutes. Then, for 30 seconds, loosen the jaw and unclench the tongue. This sounds strange, but jaw tension often mirrors pelvic tension. After the 5 minutes, take a slow walk for 2 minutes if you can, even around the house. Walking integrates the calm signal into the body. If you do this daily for 2 weeks, many men notice they feel less reactive overall. Sleep feels slightly deeper. Mood is steadier. And intimate control becomes less unpredictable. Not perfect, more predictable. Now let's handle the mental loop. Many men carry one silent thought. What if I can't control it? That thought itself is a trigger. It creates urgency. The fix is not to argue with the thought. The fix is to redirect your attention to the body's safety signals: breath, relaxation, steadiness. In other words, don't fight the mind, guide the system. Here's a small technique that helps in real moments. Instead of monitoring performance, monitor relaxation. Ask yourself, are my shoulders relaxed? Is my jaw soft? Is my exhale longer than my inhale? Those questions shift you from pressure to regulation. Now, if you have underlying medical conditions, blood pressure issues, diabetes, high cholesterol, those can influence circulation and nerve sensitivity. This is why it's wise to approach improvement as a whole health project, not a single trick. Talk to your clinician if needed, but don't underestimate how much baseline regulation can help. Another practical upgrade is strength training, especially legs and hips, 2 to 3 times per week at a manageable level. Why? Because large muscle work improves insulin sensitivity, circulation, and confidence. It also improves sleep quality. And better sleep improves regulation. Let's be real. Men don't just want better performance. They want to feel like themselves. They want steadiness, dignity, control, and they want to stop feeling like their body is betraying them. This is why the urgency habit is so damaging. It makes you feel like everything is happening too fast, and the body mirrors that speed. Now the climax. When you replace urgency with downshift, you're not just improving one area. You're restoring your system's ability to choose pace, and pace is the real definition of control. So if you remember nothing else, remember this. Timing doesn't improve when you try harder. It improves when your system feels safe enough to slow down. That's why the 5-minute reset matters. It's not a hack. It's retraining. And retraining works at any age because nervous systems remain adaptable. Start with the breath. Reduce morning urgency. Add moderate movement. Protect sleep. Loosen tension. Do that consistently. And watch how your body responds. Not with force, but with steadiness. If you've been carrying this quietly, I want you to take a calmer perspective. This is not a verdict on your masculinity. It's a signal from your nervous system. And signals can be changed. Your body's not asking you to panic. It's asking you to downshift. Do the reset. Give it 2 weeks, then 4. Pay attention to sleep, mood, and your baseline tension. Because those are the real predictors of control. And if you want a simple daily motto that actually works, let it be this: slow the exhale, soften the body, steady the system. That's how men regain control with dignity. That's how confidence returns without forcing it. And that's how you stop blaming age for what urgency quietly caused. And one last thing, because it matters more than men expect. Your relationship with yourself affects your body's response. When you approach intimacy like a performance review, your system tightens. When you approach it like a shared human moment, your system relaxes. Relaxation is the doorway to steadiness. If you have a partner, consider a simple shift. Slow the entry into intimacy. Create a calm transition. A short walk together, a conversation, a warm shower, or even just 5 minutes of quiet breathing can change the entire tone. This isn't romance advice. It's nervous system advice. Also, be cautious with internet promises. Anything that claims instant transformation is usually selling you urgency, the very thing that makes control worse. Choose calm, consistent signals. That's the adult strategy. If setbacks happen, don't interpret them as failure. Setbacks often reflect stress, sleep loss, or pressure. Use them as information. Return to the reset. That's how you build stability. Over time, you'll notice something bigger than timing. You'll feel more in control of your life rhythm. And that is what most men are truly craving. Not a trick, but a steadier self. Now here's a final micro reset you can use anytime during the day. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and take 3 slow exhales through the nose. It's small, but it tells your body to stop sprinting. And when your body stops sprinting, control becomes possible again.